President Bola Tinubu has come under intense scrutiny after he posted a picture on his arrival in the Vatican City. Bola Tinubu took to his official X account to state that he was received by the Secretary of State of the Vatican, and this is what he said. Upon my arrival in Rome ahead of the solemn mass marking the beginning of the pontificate of His Holiness Pope Leo XIV, I was warmly received and graciously hosted to dinner by His Eminence Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Secretary of State to the Vatican. Our dialogue was marked by a spirit of fraternity and a shared vision for the future, focusing on common values such as peace, mutual respect, and global solidarity. I expressed Nigeria's deep appreciation for the Vatican's long-standing goodwill and reaffirm our commitment to promoting interfaith dialogue, tolerance, and cooperation in an increasingly polarized world. As always, Nigeria remains a nation open to friendship, grounded in faith, and committed to building bridges of understanding across the world. Most unfortunate to our president, the person that received him in the Vatican City is not the Secretary of State. The person that received him is called Kevin Joseph Farry. He's not even a cardinal but an archbishop of a Catholic church. This is the Secretary of State whom the president claimed to have received him, Pietro Parolin. This is how he looks. He looks entirely different from what the president posted. Now, the president put out his statement that he was officially invited by the new pope and he's going for the new pope inauguration to attend the first morning mass of the pope. Now, if he was officially invited, how come someone that is not the Secretary of State is receiving them? This post wasn't just made by Bola Tinubu alone, it was also made by his spokesperson Bayo Onanuga. What exactly is happening? What level of disgrace and embarrassment is this? A quick search would have let them know that the person that received them is not the Secretary of State. But they went ahead to put that out. Probably they felt that Nigerians will not discover. Probably they felt that they can deceive Nigerians the same way they have been doing it over time. This is the height of it. This incident is not merely a diplomatic gaffe, but it's a symptom of a broader issue that is affecting Bola Tinubu's administration. Since becoming the president, Bola Tinubu administration appears fixated on projecting international legitimacy, often at the expense of accuracy and credibility. The president do not care about accuracy and credibility. The president do not care about the image of Nigeria. The president do not care about how the world view his administration and Nigeria at large. All the president wants is international recognition and legitimacy, even when they know that they are lacking that recognition and legitimacy. Since becoming the president, Bola Tinubu has been facing the issue of legitimacy and recognition, especially with the integrity of the 2023 presidential election that brought him to power. What happened with this tweet is a pattern. This is not the first time they are doing it. This is not the first time they are intentionally putting out a false claim about Bola Tinubu. Tinubu's team has previously been criticized for exaggerating diplomatic achievements or misrepresenting interaction in order to uplift his image. The misidentification of the Secretary of State of the Vatican suggests either a lack of due diligence or a deliberate attempt to inflate the significance of Bola Tinubu's encounter in the Vatican City. The Secretary of State, who is the Vatican's second in command, carries more diplomatic weight than Farry, whom Bola Tinubu met. The Farry that Bola Tinubu met is a camelonga, a role that is critical during the papacy transition, but less prominent in a day-to-day Vatican affairs. Bola Tinubu claiming a dinner with the Secretary of State will send a signal of a high-level endorsement from the Holy See, a powerful symbol for a leader seeking global validation. This is coming out because Bola Tinubu is lacking legitimacy both home and abroad. Bola Tinubu is not well recognized as the president of Nigeria because of the illegitimate election that produced him as president. Mr. P2B said that for you to be called My Excellency, the process that produced you must be excellent. The last election result was one that ought not to have happened. It is a shame of an election. It is a disgraceful election in the history of this country. The whole world knew that that election did not reflect the true reflection of the voice of the people. The whole world is aware that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a product of a fraudulent process, not just from INEC but also the judiciary that colluded, that turned against the constitution of Nigeria to allow Bola Ahmed Tinubu to become the president. Before Bola Ahmed Tinubu even contested that election, he was faced with so many legitimacy issues. These issues ranging from the age falsification, certificate forgery, and report of his drug dealing in Chicago, where he forfeited $460,000 to the United States government. Owing to this, it was also reported that Bola Ahmed Tinubu owns a dual citizenship with Guinea. And there are also reports of Bola Ahmed Tinubu being a CIA asset, a CIA spy. Owing to the constitution of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not qualified to contest the 2023 presidential election, even though he contested and won. It is on the onion of the Supreme Court to disqualify him because of all this misrepresentation around him. But the Supreme Court closed her eyes and allowed all this to say true and announced Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of that election. This has affected the image and reputation of Nigeria greatly. That Nigeria is where it is today is not just because of the bad policies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's legitimacy issue and all the controversies around him is sending a bad signal across the globe. And this is what is chasing investors away from Nigeria. Even the one that were already in Nigeria exited the country the moment Bola Ahmed Tinubu was announced as the president. This is the reason why our economy is going downhill. This is the reason why our GDP that used to be $500 billion is now $199 billion. This is the reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is here to even grow our GDP per capita, but he has reduced it to nothing. This is the reason why inflation is at all-time high. Nigeria is regarded as Africa's most populous nation and a key player in global diplomacy. It relies on its credibility to maintain influence in international forums like the African Union, ECOWAS, and the United Nations. Missteps like this erode trust. It portrays Nigeria as unreliable or prone to propaganda. We all know that ever since APC came into power, they have been doing nothing short of propaganda. Everything about the APC is propaganda. This is the same Bola Ahmed Tinubu that has to hire fake bishops in order to represent him and endorse him prior to the 2023 presidential election. The Vatican, a neutral and respected entity, is particularly sensitive to this kind of misrepresentations, and this incident risks straining relations at a time when Nigeria seeks to align with global moral authorities on issues like peace and development. This kind of misrepresentation is not only sending a bad signal to the Vatican, because the Vatican is a neutral body. It is sending a bad signal across the globe. This is the fastest way to demarket Nigeria. And yes, the president is at the forefront of demarketing Nigeria. It is not about Mr. Peter Obi, who goes about discussing issues that are affecting Nigeria, who goes about giving solutions to the problem in Nigeria. It is not those that go on the radio station to talk about the problem that is inherent in our country. It is not about those who are concerned about the problem and the maladministration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is not those that are criticizing the government. They are not the ones demarketing Nigeria. The people that are actively demarketing Nigeria are these politicians, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his handlers, who are misrepresenting the facts, who are seeking for adulation, who are seeking for recognition at all costs, even at the expense of Nigeria. This is the reason why the Nigerian passport is not respected. Nigeria is a country of over 200 million talented citizens, hardworking citizens that are thriving in other fields of endeavor across the world, but they are not being respected both home and abroad because of the careless politicians we have in Nigeria. Politicians who do not know what it means to grow a nation. Politicians who do not know what it means to reposition the country for progress, peace, and prosperity. Politicians who are only after their self-recognition rather than the general goodwill and well-being of Nigeria and Nigerians. This is the reason why we talk about intentionality when selecting your president and your leaders. Nigerians are not intentional when electing their politicians. They elect their politicians based on tribalism, based on party affiliation, based on religion sentiment. They don't elect their representative based on competency, character, antecedent, legacy, the person they can trust. Just recently, Pat Utumi accused Bola Ahmed Tinubu of being an Abacha spy. Imagine someone that was an Abacha spy becoming the president of Nigeria. You all heard what Abacha did to Nigeria, how he laundered money, billions of dollars away from this country. And then Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president. No wonder two of the people that work with Abacha in helping him in laundering money, Gilbert Chogri and Atiku Buguda, they are all in Bola Ahmed Tinubu cabinet. The people that are supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they are all aware of all of these controversies. They are all aware of everything about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but they were blind to all of this, or maybe they intentionally left that aside because of their party affiliation, because of their religion and tribal sentiment, and elected Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Look at where we are today. Rather than fixing the country, rather than working for the good, the general good of everyone in Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is concerned only about his world recognition, adulation, even when they don't send him at all. They don't even care about his recognition. They know who he is. They knew how he came into power. They knew what happened on the day of that election in 2023. They knew that that election was rigged. They knew that INEC colluded to ensure that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was announced as the winner. They knew that the judiciary compromised the Nigerian constitution. They are aware of all of this. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu is aware, but he doesn't care. All he cares about is himself. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.